Hey everyone. So it is now time to finish working on the course project essay. So we're talking about project part 3, which is the final draft of the essay. By now, hopefully you have submitted your rough draft and received my feedback on it. If you have not, you need to do that as soon as possible. Remember, all 3 project parts are mandatory. You have to submit all 3 project parts to pass the class, and you have to receive my feedback on the rough draft before you can proceed to the final draft. So if you have not submitted the rough draft and received my feedback, you need to stop watching this video, do that first, then you can come back to project part 3. But hopefully all of you have already done that, and now it's time to take my feedback, and if you have not already started working on revisions, you need to do so this week. Use my feedback to your advantage. I put all of it out there to help you, so try to incorporate as much of my suggestions as you can. And then make sure that your final draft adheres to all of the requirements for the essay. And when you look at the instructions, there's a list of bullet points. It's reminders and submission requirements for project part 3. Make sure you read through those bullet points. Make sure that you have the right spacing and font, that everything is in proper APA format, that you have a good intro and thesis statement, good body paragraphs with transitional topic sentence, that you have supported your main points, with specific and adequate supporting details, that you have a good line of reasoning that we can understand where all of your ideas are coming from and how they all fit together. You have a good concluding paragraph, that you have a reference page, even if there's only one item on it, but make sure it's in proper APA format. Make sure that your reference page completely matches up with any source that you used in the body of the essay. So anything that's on the reference page needs to be cited at least once in the essay. Anything that's cited in the essay has to appear on the references page, and there should be no extras on either side. Alright, make sure that the reference page is in proper APA format, the whole thing. Make sure that, if you have used information from one of the PowerPoints, I've actually given you a website. There's a link there in one of the bullet points that shows you how to do a reference entry and citation for information from a PowerPoint. Okay. Make sure that you have a formal tone that's not too stuffy, but appropriate for college level writing. Try to, do a good proofreading before you submit the final draft. Look for any small sentence level errors. And remember that, if with your rough draft, I submitted the rough draft through a plagiarism checker. If what you turn in for your final draft, I can tell that it's still the same basic essay and that you just used my feedback to make changes, I probably won't need to run it through the plagiarism checker again. But if the final draft you submit to me is vastly different from the rough draft I looked at, I will run it through a plagiarism checker again. So please make sure that the essay you submit is yours, 100%. Obviously you will be using, quotes and, citations from the short story that you've chosen, and there might be citations from my PowerPoints in the lessons. You are not supposed to use any outside sources other than that, but please make sure that, if you feel that you absolutely had to use an outside source, that you have cited it. Because it's one thing for me to take off some points because you didn't completely adhere to the assignment requirements, and it's a totally different thing for me to have to fail it, give you a failing grade completely because you used outside information and did not provide credit. Okay, so final draft, hopefully you guys are all ready to go with this. if you have any questions about my feedback, any questions about your revision process, reach out to me. And don't forget that the final draft is due no later than the Tuesday of week 10. Remember, week 10 is our last week. It's a short week. Week 10 only goes from Monday to Thursday. The final draft is due that Tuesday, no later than, because, you know, have to be able to read them and give you grades by the end of the course. If you are going to have a problem with that, reach out to me right away. Otherwise, hopefully it's smooth sailing for everybody, and I can't wait to read your final products.